The other big trend that's coming in that I think is important to pay attention to is the fact that central banks are repatriating their gold. So where they used to hold them offshore at the Bank of England or a bullion house or something like that.
Join us for a quick dive into the world of finance with Lynette Zhang. In this video, she breaks down central banks' tactics impacting gold and silver. Gain essential insights for smarter investing. Don't miss out on this bite-sized financial wisdom. In this video, Lynette will guide you through the essentials, offering key insights into central banks' financial weapons and strategies. Her expertise will empower you to make informed decisions about your gold and silver holdings. So let's listen to her.
Because in reality, as soon as you make that deposit, you have loaned the bank that money. And so for the bank, it is considered a liability. And then, of course, they can do anything they want with those deposits, sweep them into sub-accounts in their name and use them as equity to borrow and then do whatever they want. But simply put, you make a deposit into their account and you've loaned them money. Well, they can do it in many different ways because, after all, central banks create new money. So that's the easiest way to do it. But what we know and what's really significant is that the lion's share, I mean by a ridiculous mile, is in the physical gold. Then they'll use the ETFs and derivatives to manage the price, the visible price that we see. The other big trend that's coming in that I think is important to pay attention to is the fact that central banks are repatriating their gold. So where they used to hold them offshore at the Bank of England or a bullion house or something like that, there is a huge move to bring them back onshore. So financing their massive gold purchases, they can issue debt and create new money. I mean, that's not a big deal, to be honest with you. Well, when they do that revaluation does not mean that they're backing the new currency with gold, because typically that's just about getting confidence again. Okay, they lop off however many zeros and a loaf of bread went from, $8,000 to $8. So it makes it psychologically appear that it's cheaper, but they don't change what they're doing. And so that starts to deteriorate very quickly. The only way, and I'm going to be so clear on this, the only way that you will know when there is actually a good currency in the system is when and if you can convert that into gold. If you can't convert it, there is no way on God's green earth for you to know what's really backing it. Exactly. And Zimbabwe is running that test right now, right? And so, and what was really interesting when I was digging into it, it was really the CBDC that is backed by gold. It was really clear as mud because you cannot convert it, right? So there's been this huge rush of obviously the 1%ers or the top 10%ers, those in Zimbabwe that still have wealth, to convert and buy the physical gold coins. But it's a whole lot less clear on how that gold-backed CBDC is doing, because you can't convert it into the gold and pull the gold out of the system. That's the only way. I mean, when we were on a gold standard and the public could do that, you didn't like the politics, you went in and you created those restrictions. Do governments want to have those restrictions? Do they want the public in control of their wealth? So when that is actually going to happen, it'll be because they're forced to happen. It's forced to happen. It means that truly all confidence in the currency, but also in the regime. And there's something else that I've noticed that I think is really, really interesting. And that's, of course, we had the rise of populism before we had what happened in March, the COVID-19. We had a rise in populism, and that was squashed, right? Well, we've got that surge again, but now what we're seeing is, Biden's form of populism or Trump's form of populism. That's what I'm seeing in the headlines. Are they really populists? I don't know, maybe. I don't get political because their job is to legalize the theft of the central bankers. But it seems to me like those in power are trying to play to that tune because what they're seeing is that the public is not buying that the inflation is under control and not buying how great things are. The public is not buying it. And that's a threat to their authority. So yeah, it'll be lies unless it's convertible. It'll be lies, and that's that kind of already also takes us back to why you hold it, you own it, it runs no counterparty risk. If you can't convert and hold real money, it's counterparty risk, it's credit, it's something else. That starts with your goals. So that's where everything, frankly, should start, because there's different kinds of silver and there's different kinds of gold, and it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So I'll give you an example in barterability, because part of the strategy is about sustaining your current standard of living, right? And so it's a combination of a variety of sizes of silver, though any talent you have in anything physical that you have is also barterable. This is just silver is universally barterable. So you would take what your current cost of living is, and then there is a formula that's built into the spreadsheet, which I don't have right off the top of my head, that would actually tell you, well, this is how much silver you need to sustain your current standard of living for a year. And also barterable gold goes in that for like property taxes and things like that. There's also a component that goes in there if, God forbid, but if you're running if you have a chronic illness that you need to fund. So anything like that you're going to have to fund, there are different kinds of gold and silver, and based upon what that current cost is, and based upon the most conservative approach to the gold and silver's fundamental value, what'll happen to it, that's actually what determines how much gold and silver you need. Then there are other kinds of gold if you're going to convert it into income producing assets, other kinds of gold for legacy creation. So it's nuanced, but and your goals go first. And then what you do, support your goals. A lot of times people will just randomly buy whatever, and then what are you going to do? Put your goals around that? No. You start with your goals. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. And then you look at what you have to work, with as well. I mean, you might want a $5 million portfolio, but you might only have $5,000 to work with. So you're not going to be able to do that out of the chute, right? And you'll have to make some determinations. But that's the whole point of the strategy. It's basically the same for everybody, but then there are a bunch of nuances.
Thank you for tuning in to this insightful exploration led by Lynette Zhang. We hope you've gained valuable perspectives on central bank strategies and optimizing your gold and silver holdings. For more financial wisdom and updates, subscribe, like, and stay connected. Your journey to financial empowerment continues. Take care and see you tomorrow with a new video.